everyone, welcome back to yoga. My name is Ashley. Today we are just doing a dynamic, fluid, balanced class. So there's nothing in particular peak-ish about this class. I really wanted to do something that is helpful for if there's just a lot of energy in the body and we don't know what to do with it. This is what that class is for. So I hope you enjoy. Please feel free to close your eyes or gaze at a point out in front of you and connect to your natural breath or connect to something about this present moment that brings you comfort. And just take a few moments here to acknowledge how you're feeling emotionally, mentally, physically, and spiritually. Allowing yourself to really drop into you just as you are here in this present moment. And even here and now, set the intention to just do what you can, do your best. No need to force things to happen. No need to do anything that does not serve your body today. Take a full breath in. And as you exhale, let it out with a big sigh. And gently open your eyes. Please begin in downward facing dog. When you come into your down dog, make sure your hands are shoulder distance. Index fingers point straight ahead. Grip the floor with all 10 fingertips and push the inner edges of your hands down. Bend your knees slightly and then work your legs straighter. And then bend them again. Just a little pumping action and straighten. Do it one more time, bend. And the next time you work towards straight, maybe take your heels toward the floor. And just take some slow, deep, even breaths here. Create as much length on the sides of your body as possible, reaching from hips to armpits, and draw your rib cage back into that space. Maybe shake your head a few times, no and yes, or just do little circles, whatever feels good. Come to the outer edge of your right foot, inner edge of your left foot, and then push your inner feet away from you. So you're pushing your inner feet toward the floor, and then push just as much to your outer feet as you do through your inner feet. So you're trying to plant the whole sole of your foot on both feet down. And switch to the other side, outer left foot, inner right foot. Again, push through the inner and outer edges of your feet. Take slow, deep breaths. And come back to center. Bring your feet together. Shift forward to the top of a push-up. Hold your push-up. Push your hands down apart and toward your feet. Then lower halfway down, squeeze elbows toward your rib cage, chaturanga. Feel free to use your knees on the floor. Then come all the way down to the floor. Take your arms alongside your torso. Close your fingers, point your palms up. Push the tops of your feet down so your knees lift up. Tops of your hands down so your shoulders lift up. Then squeeze arms and legs toward the midline of your body. Pull your chin back to lift the back of your head toward the ceiling. Then lift your chin up, look slightly forward. Keep the whole back of your neck long. Locust 1, stay here, or locust 2, lift everything except for your hips off the floor. Press your palms toward the ceiling, inner thighs toward the ceiling, and maybe bring your feet together. Maybe bring your thumbs in a little more. Lift inner hands higher than outer hands, inner thighs higher than outer thighs. Don't hold your breath. Then rest one side of your face on the floor. Bring your head off the floor, look forward again. Take your arms back behind you, interlace your fingers, and then squeeze your shoulder blades toward each other, shoulders back, and maybe work your arms towards straight. You can keep your feet down, push hips down, lift torso up, and maybe lift your feet off the floor just like the last pose. Squeeze your inner thighs in, outer hips down, and then lift your knuckles up and back like someone's pulling on your wrist toward the wall behind you. Maybe lift up a little higher. And rest the other side of your face on the floor. Relax everything, take a breath. Look forward. Take your hands next to your chest, point your index fingers straight ahead. Grip the floor with your fingertips. Now push your hips down, straighten your legs, push the tops of your feet down so your knees lift up. Push your hips down, move your shoulders back and lift just your torso. Do try to keep your hands light at first for Cobra Pose. When you're in low Cobra, you needn't use much hand strength at all. You can stay here, or to come up into a higher Cobra, do push more through your hands. Push down and back to pull your torso forward and up, shoulders up and back, and then lift your torso, lift your chin. Take slow, steady breaths. Then slowly come back down. Take your hands a little further back so your wrists are under your elbows. And then in one movement, we're going to go up into upward facing dog. Straighten your legs. Push your arms straight, but keep your heels or your hips close to the floor. Then move your shoulders back. Lift up through your sternum. Pull your throat back. Look up. Lengthen the back of your neck. Curl your toes under. Press back down dog. So good. Bring your feet together. Step your right foot outside your right hand. Dog lunge, back heel to the floor. Walk your hands forward and to your left. Push your hands down and forward, but keep your feet heavier than your hands. And then let your head drop. Push your back foot down and toward the wall at your right to really engage your back leg. Push more through your outer left foot to lift your inner arch of your foot up and to keep your inner ankle strong. Walk your hands back, downward dog. Step your left foot outside your left hand, dog lunge. Spin your back heel to the floor. Walk your hands forward and to your right. Push your hands forward, but keep them light. Widen left knee to the left. Push your right foot down and toward the left side of your mat. It's like you're dragging your foot behind you without moving it. Keep your back thigh tone, kneecap lifted. Swing your hips a little to your right. Walk your hands back, downward dog. Shift forward, plank pose, top of a push-up. Do or don't lower your knees to do Chaturanga Dandasana. Lower halfway down. Inhale either Cobra or upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Walk your hands to your feet. Bring your feet together, bend your knees, place hands on hips, shoulders back, and slowly stand up. Great, take your arms over your head, reach tall, and step your right foot forward, a giant step, lunging warrior one. Move your back heel vertical, lift your back thigh up, draw right hip back, left hip forward. Move your rib cage back, tailbone forward, extend up through your fingertips. Reach tall, maybe sit a little deeper. Hold your left wrist with your right hand, pull up, then lean slightly forward and to your right for a crescent within the lunging warrior one. Push more through your back foot, reach more through your left side. Then slowly come back up, drop your hands to the floor, step back down dog, and then from here, walk your hands to your feet. Inhale, lengthen your spine, bend your knees slightly, hands on hips, lift your torso, stand up. Reach your arms all the way up. Step your left foot forward, giant step. Move your back heel vertical. Move left hip back, right hip forward. Press tailbone forward, ribs back, stretch up through your fingertips. Sit a little deeper. Take a couple more breaths like this. Then grab onto your right wrist with your left hand, pull up and lean torso forward and to your left. Turn your torso more toward the ceiling. Push more through your back foot. I love this one for getting into those hip flexors. So good. Inhale, come back up. Exhale, hands to the floor. Press back, down dog. Shift forward, plank pose. Lower halfway down, Chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Take a breath here. Slow your breathing if it's quickened. Take your knees to the floor. Keep your knees hip distance, hands shoulder distance, and turn your fingers toward backwards. You can go out at a side, like an angle backwards, or all the way toward your knees. For less wrist stretch and forearm stretch, you can walk your knees more forward, and for more stretch, walk your knees backward. Hang out here for a couple of breaths. Push your hands down, knees down, then tone your abdomen, round your back, and bring forehead toward your chest, tailbone through your legs. And breathe here for 5 more breaths, slow breaths. Really think lengthening the breath. That'll help to slow down the heart rate and the mind. Keep us a little more focused. Drop your back to a neutral spine. Turn your hands back around to straight ahead. Now bring your knees, ankles together to start. And then take your right leg straight back. Tiger, opposite arm to leg. Keep right toes and kneecap pointing down. Take your left arm straight out in front of you, arm parallel to the floor. Pull your palm into the right and pull your right leg into the left and try to hold steady here. Push through your standing supporting leg and arm strongly. Push arm and leg away from each other. Ribs back, tailbone toward your heel. Keep your right leg lifted. Take your left hand slightly to the left of your left shoulder. Lean to the left. Keep your right hip facing down. Then take your right arm straight out in front of you for tiger, same arm to leg. Push through your standing and supporting leg and arm. Reach your right arm and right leg straight back and away from each other. Breathe. Keep your right leg lifted, lower your right hand to the floor, line up hands under your shoulders, tone your abdomen around your spine, bring knee to nose, right heel toward your hips so your toes are off the floor. Hold steady. Reach your right leg back, swing your right leg to the left, tap your toes on the floor, reach back up, that's 1. 2, tap your toes to the left, reach back up, 3, back up, 4, back up, and 5, last one. Back up, lower your knee to the floor. Fantastic. Take your left leg straight back. Take your right arm straight out in front of you. Try to balance. Push your left hand and right knee down. Reach your right arm forward, left leg back, but squeeze your joints in so you're pulling your arm bone and your leg bone into the socket. Reach arm and leg in toward the midline, ribs back, tailbone forward. Try not to collapse into your left shoulder. Then take right hand slightly to the right of your shoulder, left arm straight out in front of you. Keep your hips square to the floor. Keep your ribs square to the floor. Reach arm and leg longer. Pull your arm and leg toward the midline of your body. Keep your leg lifted, lower your left hand. Tone your abdomen, round your back, forehead to knee, toes off the floor if you can. Don't hold your breath. Reach way back. Tap your toes to the right, 1. Come back up, it's like a crunch, to the right, 2. Back up, 3. 4. And 5, last one. Lower your knee to the floor. Press back, downward facing dog. Straighten your legs as much as you can. Tone your thighs, lift your kneecaps, and maybe take your heels toward the floor. Reach arms and legs away from each other. Even lift your armpits up away from the floor. Look forward between your hands, bend your knees, step or jump to the front of your mat. Inhale, halfway lift, Ardha Uttanasana. Exhale, forward fold, ribs to thighs, face toward your shins. Feel free to bend your knees. Inhale, stand up, reach your arms all the way over your head. Then as you exhale, join your palms in front of your heart. Great, bend your knees. Take your right arm up, crescent to your left, and then twist. Take your right elbow or armpit somewhere outside your left thigh. Then join your palms in front of your heart. Move your shoulder back. Push your leg into your arm, arm into your leg, and then draw your right hip back so both of your knees are in line. Your right knee is not stacked on top of your left knee. And sit your hips a little bit more low. Bring more weight into your heels. Hold. Stay here, or lean your weight into your left leg. Flamingo your right foot off the floor, heel to hip. Lower your foot. Untwist. Arms by your side. Bend your knees. Take your left arm up, crescent to the right, then twist. Take your armpit outside your knee. Get as deep as you can, join your palms. Move your left shoulder back, left hip back. Get your head more or less in line with your feet. Try to sit more weight back toward your heels, hips low. Hold. Stay here or lean your weight into your right foot, flamingo your left heel up to your left hip and hold here. Keep your gaze steady, it helps. Lower your foot. Stand up, arms by your side. All right, turn and face the long edge of your mat. Come to the middle, bring fingertips in front of your chest, step or jump, feet wide, arms wide. From here, turn your toes in slightly, heels a little wider than your pinky toes. Take hands on hips, tone thighs, lift kneecaps, lean hips back, torso forward. Take hands under your shoulders. Lean your weight forward into your hands and forward into the balls of your feet. Push evenly through your inner and outer balls of your feet. Lift your inner arches up and your inner ankles, push them away from each other. Now push your hands back, walk them back a little bit more. Push hands down and forward. Feet down and back, lift up through your sternum, lift your chin, bend your elbows, reach heart first, head last, in between your legs. Prasarita Padottanasana, wide-legged forward fold. Keep pressing evenly through inner and outer foot. If you push evenly through your outer foot as much as you do your inner foot, you'll help yourself get more stretch on your outer legs, outer lower legs, and that can be quite nice. Keep lengthening your spine toward the floor. Even reaching top of your head down. If it touches the floor, push the top of your head into the floor. Next inhale, lengthen your spine. Take hands to hips, shoulders back, and slowly stand up. Take arms wide to the side. Turn right toes out to the right. Bend your right knee for warrior two. Widen your right knee to the right. Tilt your right sitting bone towards your right heel. Push through your left leg, strengthen your leg. Reach your arms longer, torso taller. Breathe. Work your right leg straight. Step your back foot in a smidge. Turn your toes in slightly. Lean hips to your left, torso to your right. Reach through your right fingertips. Take your right hand to shin, ankle, floor, or block outside your leg. Stack your wrists and shoulders. Stack your hips over your heels. Move your torso back in line with your right leg. And then try to turn your torso more toward the ceiling. Try to keep your right ear away from your right shoulder to keep your neck in line with the rest of your spine. Look down at the floor, bend your right knee, take right hand outside your right foot. You're always welcome to take forearm to thigh instead for that variation. Reach left arm beyond your ear. Push through your back foot, tone and turn your abdomen to the left. Try to stack your shoulders, stack your ribs, and stack your hips. Push your right knee to the right, move your right shoulder back. Maybe gaze at your left palm. Half moon, Ardha Chandrasana, look down. Take left hand to hip, step your back foot in one or many steps. Right hand forward and to the right under your shoulder. Lift your left leg off the floor, parallel to the floor, and point your toes off to the left. Stack your hips just like the previous postures. Reach your left arm straight up, and more challenging, turn your gaze toward your left fingertips. Keep your chin lifted slightly, head in line with your spine. Bend your right knee, step way back. Stand up. Turn your right toes in, realign your feet. Turn your left toes out, Virabhadrasana 2, bend your left knee. Gaze beyond your left fingertips, widen left knee to the left, push through your back foot. Lift your inner right thigh away from the floor as you sit a little deeper. Keep your gaze steady and focused. Work your left leg straighter. Feel free to heel toe your right foot in a couple of inches. Lean hips to your right, torso to your left, reach. Take left hand to shin, ankle, floor. Block outside your left leg. Tone and turn your abdomen toward the ceiling. Stack wrists, shoulders, hips. Head in line with left foot. Torso in line with left leg. Extended side angle, bend your left knee. Feel free to take forearm to thigh or left hand outside your left foot. Reach your right arm beyond your ear. Push through your inner and outer back foot. Lift your inner right thigh away from the floor. Tone and turn your abdomen toward the ceiling and maybe look at your right palm. Lower your right hand to your hip, look down, step your right foot forward, left hand forward and to the left, pick up your right leg, parallel to the floor, point toes and kneecap to the right, stack hips, shoulders, maybe lift your right arm and maybe turn your gaze toward the ceiling. Bend your knee, step way back, stand up, turn your toes in, bring fingertips in front of your chest, step or jump, feet together, arms by your side. Take your right foot anywhere along the inner edge of your left leg as long as you're not pushing into your knee. Push foot into leg, leg into foot, palms in front of your heart. Vrikshasana, tree pose. Stay here, reach your arms straight up over your head. Feel free to separate your palms or hands together. Reach up evenly through your pinky and thumb edges of your hands. Move your armpits back. Lift up through your sternum. Root down through your tailbone. Lower your hands. Lower your foot. Second side, take your left foot to your inner right thigh. Push foot into leg, leg into foot, palms in front of your heart. Gaze at a steady point out in front of you for balance. And from here you can stay or reach your arms straight up. Hold steady. Keep your breath breathing. Root down through the inner edge of your standing leg all the way into your inner foot. Lift just as much on the back side of your ribs as you do the front. Lower your hands, lower your foot. Turn and face the front of your mat. Take your arms out like cactus arms. Then wrap your right arm under your left arm. Either hold shoulders, join backs of hands, or join your palms. Make sure you're about in the middle-ish of your mat or somewhere where if you kicked your leg behind you or in front of you, you won't kick anything if possible. Then pull your elbows forward and down, lift up through your sternum, move your shoulders back. Bend your knees, sit way back toward your heels. And lift your right knee up, cross right knee over your left knee. Squeeze shin to shin, maybe hook your foot behind your calf. Point your knees straight ahead. Squeeze your legs in, elbows in, lift up through your sternum, move your shoulders back and sit low. Keep your arms bound. Unbind your right leg from your left leg and kick your right leg straight back. Feel free to bend your standing knee, or if your leg is straight, tone your thigh, lift your kneecap. Point your right toes and kneecap straight down, pull your ribs back, tailbone toward your heel, and lift through your sternum just like you did in the previous pose. Keep your arms bound, pull your right knee in toward your chest, then kick your right leg forward. Levitating sage eagle arms. Then bend your knee, lower your foot, lower your arms. That was a lot. All right, take your arms out to the sides, left arm under your right arm. Hold shoulders, join backs of hands or palms. Pull elbows forward and down, lift up through your sternum, shoulders back, bend your knees. Sit deep, lift through your sternum. Lift left knee on top of right knee. Squeeze knee to knee, ankle to ankle, maybe hook your foot behind your calf. Reach up through the top of your head as you sit low through your hips. Virabhadrasana 3 variation. Kick your left leg straight back behind you. Try to get torso, leg parallel to the floor. Bend or straighten your standing leg. Point left toes and kneecap straight down. Slowly lift up, pull your left knee toward your sternum and kick your left leg forward parallel to the floor. Hold steady, do your best. If you fall out, it's okay. Bend your knee, lower your foot, unbind your arms. All right, downward facing dog. Use your down dog as a neutralizing posture. Push hands down and forward, feet down and back, thighs back, upper arms forward. Take your knees to the floor. Then take your knees slightly behind your hips and take your wrists slightly in front of your shoulders. Then come onto your left inner foot, taking your foot behind your right foot, and then plant the whole sole of your foot down into the floor, outer and inner edge. Point your right toes toward your left foot. Take left hand on top of left hip, turn sideways, side plank variation. You can stay here or take left foot in front of your right knee, outer right foot to the floor, reach through your big toe edge of your right foot. Stay working here or stack your ankles. Lift your left arm toward the ceiling in whatever variation you've got. Be as sideways as possible, ribs back, tailbone forward, maybe gaze upward. Lower your hand to the floor. Lower your knees to the floor, knees behind your hips, wrists in front of your shoulders. Then take your right foot behind your left foot, plant your whole sole of your foot down, right hand to right hip, turn toward sideways. Stay here, right foot in front of left knee, outer left foot to the floor, push through your left big toe mount, push through your left arm. Stay here, stack your ankles, do or don't, lift your right arm up. Press tailbone forward, ribs back, shoulders back. Downward dog. Lower your knees to the floor. Bring your knees and ankles together, curl your toes under, slide your knees back as close to your toes as they'll get, and then sit down on your heels. Interlace your fingers in front of your heart, backs of hands on top of your head, squeeze shoulder blades toward each other on your back, and try to pull your fingers away from each hand. Keep all of that strength and tension. Push your arms towards straight as you rotate your upper inner arms toward the wall behind you. Push through your palms, move your ribs back, tailbone forward, root through your hips. Thunderbolt, arms extended. Take your hands to the floor, tops of feet to the floor, squeeze knees and ankles in, have a seat on your feet. Interlace fingers behind your back, squeeze shoulder blades toward each other, and work your arms toward straight. Tone your abdomen around your back, bring forehead to or toward your knees. Try to keep hips on your heels. Do your best to keep your shoulders moving back in the face of gravity, trying to pull them down. Inhale, slowly come back up. Release your hands. Come back to downward facing dog. Step your right foot between your hands. Lower your back knee to the floor. Take right hand to right thigh, lift your left arm straight up. Crescent to your right, and then twist. Take your armpit outside your thigh. Get as deep in your twist as possible, just like you did in Twisted Power Pose. Palms in front of your heart. Stay working here, or curl your back toes under, lift your back knee off the floor. Look down, look slightly in front of your right foot, so you're gazing at a steady point. Now the name of the game is to come into the same position where we had the flamingo leg. So you're gonna step your left knee next to your right knee, but keep your foot off the floor. Ready? Here we go. Try. And you might have to tap your foot on the floor, and that's okay. Gotta start somewhere. Then step your foot back. Untwist. Downward dog. Step your left foot forward. Then keep your back heel up and lower your back knee to the floor. Lift your left hand to your thigh, reach your right arm up, crescent to your left, twist, take your armpit outside your thigh. Get as deep in your twist as you can, maybe join palms in front of your heart. Stay here, curl back toes under, lift your knee up. Stay working here, or gaze at a point slightly in front of your left foot. Maybe pull right knee next to left knee, try to keep your foot off the floor. Step back, downward dog. Bring your feet together, bend your knees, walk your hands toward your feet, and then once you get your hips to your heels, let your knees go wide, and then fold in between your legs for Malasana, Garland Pose. Push through your inner feet, round your spine like Halloween cat. You can stay here or wrap your arms one at a time in front of each shin, bend your elbows to grab your heels, And once you've got your heels, maybe pull yourself in a little deeper, getting your armpits in front of your shins. Pull your shoulders back, squeeze your knees in. You can stay here leaning back on your hands. Totally awesome pose. Or lean forward, look forward, take your hands under your shoulders. Shoulder distance, push your hands down, grip the floor with your fingertips. Push your hands and feet down to lift your hips high. Then from here, lift up through your sternum, do an upper back back bend, even though the whole spine is pretty much rounding. Lean your weight from your feet to your hands. Round your back a lot, it helps. Stay here, lift one foot off the floor, then the other foot off the floor. Maybe lift both feet off the floor. You can go one at a time or at the same time. Crow pose, Bakasana. Be up here as long as you can. Couple more breaths. Lower down. Fantastic. Extend your legs straight out in front of you. Take your hands back behind you. Turn your fingers out. Then take your heels of your hands about as wide as your mat so your fingers come off the sides of your mat. Then bend your right knee, place your heel level with your left knee. Then bend your left knee, place your left foot level with your right foot. From here, push your hands down and apart, shoulders back, work your arms straighter, keep your lower back lifting. Stay here or push hands and feet down, lift your hips up. Reverse table. Push your outer hips up, inner thighs down, shoulders back, try to get chest higher than shoulders, head level with your spine. Lower your hips. Great, Dandasana, extend your legs forward, fingertips or palms flat outside your hips. Lift your lower back in and up. All right, here we go. Cross your ankles, flip back over onto your knees. Just do your best. Feel free to skip this one or go somewhere along the way and stay. Take your inner feet together, curl your toes under, and spread your knees wide apart. Then take your hands out in front of you, turn your fingers backwards. Take your hands about an inch or two apart, then place your hands in between your knees or a little in front of them. And then tone your abdomen, round your back. You can slide forward a little bit, bend your elbows, and then tuck your elbows really, really far down close to your navel. Take your crown of your head to the floor, but keep most of the weight in your hands and your legs. Push through your hands and legs, stay here, or step one foot back at a time, straighten your legs. Take your legs together, lift your belly away from your elbows, round your spine, and then set your belly back down on your elbows. Take the tops of your feet to the floor. Push through the tops of your feet, push through your hands, and maybe lift your head off the floor. This is just a prep. If you want to go into the full pose, feel free to shift your weight forward and lift both of your feet off the floor. In order to come out, lower your knees and somehow finagle your way out of the pose. And then step somewhere on your mat. Stand up, but come down into a forward fold with your feet outer hip distance apart. Bend your knees so your ribs and thighs touch. And then take your hands, palms up, facing into your soles of your feet, thumbs pointing in, and step on your hands. Lean your weight into your hands with your feet. Lengthen your spine on an inhale. Then on an exhale, shrug your shoulders back, elbows wide as you pull your heart first, head last, toward your shins. Push up into your feet with your hands, and then push down into your hands with your feet. Next inhale, lengthen your spine. Flip your hands out from under your feet. Then bend your knees, lie all the way down on your back. So great. All right, take your right ankle on top of your left knee. Widen your right knee to the right, clamp your heel toward your hip, and then draw your legs slowly toward your chest and release fingers around your left thigh or your shin. Pull your legs in a little more closely. Feel free to rock side to side, especially on the right side of your back. Switch the cross of your legs. Left ankle over your right knee. So this is Sukhi Randrasana. Draw your legs towards you. Interlace fingers around your right thigh or shin. Then pull your legs in as closely as is optimal for you today. Maybe rock side to side on the left side of your back. Take slow, steady breaths. Let go of your leg. Place your feet on the floor, hip distance. Point your toes straight ahead. Press the back of your head flat into the floor. Walk your shoulders one at a time towards your spine so your upper spine vertebrae lift up and your shoulders move back. Lift your hips. Grab either the outer edges of your mat or hold on to your fingers. Interlacing your fingers, push your wrists down to the floor. Walk your shoulders in again if you adjusted your arms. Press shoulders back, lift up your sternum, push inner thighs down, outer hips up, inner feet down. Pull your heels toward your bottom as you push your knees away from your hips. Keep chin out of your chest. Situ Bandhasana, bridge pose. Release your hands, lower your hips to the floor. Feel free to rest your knees together, feet wide, or do windshield wipers side to side. Take a few breaths. Then roll to one side, sit up, and then take your feet so your legs are straight, but your heels are all the way at the front edge of your mat. And then take your fingers and just hook them underneath your butt flesh just a little bit. And then spread your fingers wide. Bend your elbows, lean back, and rest on your forearms. You can walk your elbows in. You can lift and lower your hips, adjust in whatever way feels best. Ideally, you want the flesh of your bottom to move toward your feet. Now push through your hips to start to upper back bend. Push through your elbows to engage more upper back muscles. Pull your throat back and look toward the wall behind you. Matsyasana prep, or variation of fish pose. Lower your sternum, lift your head, push yourself back up. Dandasana, sit on your sitting bones, lift your lower back in and up, shoulders back, lift your chin level with the floor. All right, full fish pose. Feel free to do the previous pose we just did or proceed as follows. Go ahead and come all the way back down onto your forearms just like we did. Once you're here, move your shoulders back, lift up through your sternum, pull your throat back, head back, look back. Now you can stay here or lift your fists off the floor and scoot your elbows closer to your hips. And then lift up through your upper back, pull your head back, and try to take the top of your head to the floor. Bend your knees. Now from here, you can adjust a little bit more if you need to. And then stay here or pull your knees up toward your chest so your feet are off the floor. And take your legs straight. Take your palms up together above your chest and hold. Most of the weight in your hips. Bend your knees, tippy toes to the floor. Take elbows to the floor, push down through your elbows to flip back to your head on your back. Awesome. All right. Take your right ankle over your left knee again. This time, scoot your hips a little bit to your right and then let your legs fall over to the left so the sole of your right foot plants into the floor and your right knee points up. Feel free to stay here, squeezing foot and a knee into foot, or add in Tibetan weaponry. Take left hand to right foot, right hand to left foot. Take left heel back to left hip so your left leg is on the floor. And then roll towards your outer left hip. Try to tack your right shoulder back. As you kick your right leg off to the left, allow your right knee to point towards your left shoulder. Rotate your outer right hip away from your right shoulder. Bend your right knee. Point your right knee back up. Unhook your hands from your feet. Come back up, hips to center. Uncross your leg, take left ankle over your right knee, scoot hips just a little bit to your left, and let your legs come over to the right. So sole of left foot lands on the floor, left knee points up. Stay working here, or grab left foot with right hand, right foot with left hand. Take right heel back to right hip. Left shoulder tacks back into the floor. Then turn your left knee toward your right shoulder as you kick your left leg toward the right. Then tack left outer hip away from left shoulder, shoulder away from hip. And breathe here. Bend your knee, point your knee up, let go of your feet, lift your legs back up, hips to center, lower your foot to the floor. Bring your knees and ankles together with your feet still flat on the floor. Pull your right knee towards you, and from inside your leg, grab right big toe, first two fingers and thumb. Take left hand to left thigh, reach right leg toward straight. Keep pressing length through your right leg, maybe extend your left leg along the floor, and reach through your left fingertips toward your left knee. Supta Padangusasana. Take a few more breaths here in this position, this variation. And gently open your right leg slowly to your right. Aim the outer edge of your right foot to the floor. Keep pressing length through your left leg, just as much as your right leg. Lift your leg back up. Take forehead to knee, one breath. And lower your right foot to the floor. Pull your left knee towards you from inside your leg. Grab your left big toe, first two fingers and thumb. Right hand along your right thigh. Maybe work your left leg straighter. Push foot into hand into foot, and maybe extend your right leg along the floor. Hold here a few breaths. Open left leg slowly to your left. Aim outer edge of your left foot toward the floor. Reach through your right leg. Slowly come back up. Forehead to knee, one breath. Lower down. Rest your legs straight along your mat. Take your arms above your head, hook your thumbs. Reach fingertips and heels away from each other. Draw your ribs back, tailbone forward. Try to elongate your spine as best as you can. Take some slow, deep, even breaths. And then bend your knees. From inside your legs, grab outside your feet, happy baby. Push feet up into your hands, pull hands down into your feet, drawing your knees toward the floor, and maybe rocking side to side, massaging your back muscles. Feel free as you rock side to side to straighten one leg and bend the other. You can also eventually come into both legs straight, maybe grabbing onto the backs of your heels and pointing your toes toward the floor, maybe taking toe tips down, letting your lower back lift up. Just go wherever feels best for you today. Then gently bend your knees. Take your arms outside your legs for reclined intense west stretch or Urdhva Mukha Paschimottanasana 2. Grab outside your shins, ankles, or feet. Keep your ribs and your thighs connected as you extend your legs toward straight. And then maybe let your lower back, middle back lift up off the floor, but stay on your upper back. No weight on your neck for this pose. Push feet into hands, hands into feet. Draw shins toward your face. Push your thighs toward the ceiling, ribs toward the floor, but keep them connected with each other. And then slowly roll down. Wrap your arms around your legs. Give yourself a hug. Feel free to rock side to side. Massage your back a little more. Eventually working your way towards stillness. And eventually, whenever you feel ready, take your legs straight out on your mat for Shavasana. Feel free to rest on your back, belly, side, legs up the wall. Rest on a piece of furniture. Maybe do whatever you need to do today to help yourself feel your best. Be here for at least 5 minutes if possible. And eventually enter into the rest of your day, taking this energy with you into your day. Thank you all so much for practicing with me today. Have a wonderful rest of your day.